The B-2 Spirit attack strategy involves a coordinated effort with multiple aircraft, from KC-135 Stratotankers for refueling to EA-18G Growler based at Diego Garcia, which provide electronic warfare support. However, Iran's air defense system is highly capable and shouldn't be underestimated. Its robust network could still pose a threat even to the stealthy B-2 Spirit. For a successful strike, the B-2 must ascend to a high altitude, using its stealth capabilities to evade detection before deploying bunker buster bombs. These powerful munitions can penetrate up to 60 meters, which translates to around 200 feet into the ground, effectively neutralizing hardened targets. More details all in the video ahead. The mission begins in the quiet hours before dawn at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, where the B-2 Spirit prepares for a flight that will span continents. While the stealth bomber is capable of flying non-stop with aerial refueling, pilot fatigue is a major consideration. To mitigate this, the U.S. has strategically positioned Allied air bases in Qatar, closer to Iran, and on Diego Garcia, a remote island in the Indian Ocean, roughly 2,300 miles away from Iranian territory. But why not station these multi-billion-dollar bombers in Qatar, which is much closer? The answer lies in Iran's formidable air defense capabilities. The country possesses Bayraktar 373 ballistic missiles and the highly advanced Russian S-300 missile system, both capable of inflicting severe damage. Because Qatar is within striking range, Iranian forces could detect B-2 bombers taking off and potentially target them before they even leave the ground. To avoid this risk, the U.S. positions the bombers outside the reach of these missile systems. The longest-range Iranian missiles can travel about 1,800 miles or slightly more, but Diego Garcia sits well beyond that threshold. By redeploying several B-2 Spirit bombers from the 509th Bomb Wing to Diego Garcia, the U.S. ensures a secure launch point for operations across the Middle East, Africa, and the Indo-Pacific, a carefully calculated military strategy that enhances both survivability and operational reach. Across the Arabian Sea, FA-18 Super Hornets and EA-18G Growler launch from the decks of U.S. carriers, their roles already defined. Some will clear a path through Iran's air defenses, while others will guard the tankers that keep the entire operation airborne. The KC-135 Stratotankers, laden with fuel, loiter in friendly airspace over Saudi Arabia, their crews aware that their unglamorous task could mean the difference between triumph and catastrophe. As the B-2s lift off, their jagged silhouettes blend into the night sky. Stealth is their shield, but distance is their enemy. Hours into the flight, they rendezvous with tankers flying over the canal, gulping fuel midair as FA-18s circle protectively. The Growlers emit a cacophony of electronic noise, masking the strike group's movements. Meanwhile, in underground command centers, U.S. analysts watch real-time feeds, ready to redirect forces if Iran's radars flicker to life. Crossing into Iranian airspace is no easy task. The B-2s must climb to an extremely high altitude, their routes meticulously plotted to avoid known missile sites. Below the landscape, a vast stretch of mountains and deserts offers little cover, but the bombers' radar-absorbing skin helps them slip past enemy detection. As the targets come within range, the crews face a critical decision: launch standoff missiles from hundreds of miles away or descend to drop bunker-busting bombs directly onto fortified sites. There are different bunker buster bombs of different caliber, but what sets it apart from the rest is this GBU-57, which is typically delivered by the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. Due to the bomb's large size and weight, the aircraft can carry only 2 of these weapons in its bomb bay compartments. While it lacks thrusters, the weapon is equipped with 4 active lattice fins and a precision guidance system that enables it to glide accurately to its target using military-grade GPS. Constructed from a specially designed high-performance steel alloy, using its weight when falling under gravity to penetrate or dig itself up to 200 feet of underground soil or concrete. But it's not that easy. Iran's air defenses remain a formidable threat. MiG-29s and aging F-14s may not be cutting edge, but they can still be dangerous if they're lucky enough to intercept a B-2 stealth bombers. The stealth bombers have virtually no dogfighting capability, and Iranian ground controllers, struggling to cut through the electronic jamming, vector their fighters toward the incoming bombers. But the U.S. military has its own countermeasures. EA-18 Growler, flooding a ring in frequencies with static to disrupt communications and targeting systems. Confusion spreads, making it harder for enemy pilots to coordinate. If Iranian fighter jets manage to get close, the F-A-18s are waiting. Guided by airborne warning and control system aircraft orbiting safely offshore, they engage with long-range missiles, forcing Iranian pilots to either break off or face certain destruction. The B-2s will now be racing westward to avoid Iranian air defense system. Behind them, the sky churns with chaos. SAM sites reactivated in desperation unleash salvos that spiral harmlessly into empty air, duped by decoys. Growlers continue their electronic siege, while reserve F-18s surge forward to reinforce the retreat. Over Iraq, the bombers meet tankers again, gulping fuel as F-22 Raptors join the escort, their sensors scanning for threats the Iranians might get muster. Let's take a look at how this works. Step 1. The bomb deployment platform. As previously mentioned, a B-2 stealth bomber flies at a very high altitude. When the aircraft reaches the designated location and the conditions are optimal, it releases the weapon. The bomb is designed for precision, and the deployment height plays a crucial role in its trajectory and effectiveness. Then Step 2 comes the targeting precision. The bomb is outfitted with advanced guidance technology, including GPS and inertial navigation systems, which are military-grade satellites. Then comes Step 3, that is adjusting the trajectory. The guidance information and data is then transmitted to the bomb's 4-lattice motors fins located at the rear. These fins can move and adjust in real time, allowing the bomb to correct its course as it descends under the force of gravity. These adjustments are essential because the weapon does not have thrusters to change its trajectory. Instead, it relies on the movement of these fins and a high-altitude drop to control its flight path. This is why the bomb must be deployed from a very high altitude so it has enough time and distance to adjust its trajectory accurately. Here comes the most difficult part, that is Step 4, impact and penetration. The bomb, known as the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, weighs approximately 30,000 pounds, which is around 14,000 kilograms. When it reaches its target, it strikes with immense force, designed to penetrate deep into hardened structures, such as bunkers. The energy upon impact allows the bomb to bury itself over 200 feet into reinforced concrete, ensuring it delivers its payload precisely where it is intended for maximum effect. Finally, Step 5 involves the tricky part of arming the weapon. It was installed with 2 SDB fuses. Double fuses are required as a backup. The first is for G-sensing and the second is the time delay fuse. Why the redesign was necessary, it was to ensure that the bomb could strike facilities buried beneath significant layers of hardened material. For this reason, the fuses are placed at the rear of the bomb to prevent them from being damaged. Once the time delay or the G-sensing fuse reaches its destination, it can blow up, creating a mini earthquake that can bury bunkers and 20-story buildings inside them. We make original videos from scratch, so please do subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos.